Hi guys, Mrnewmobile here. Please subscribe, followed by the bell. So as we are approaching the launching date of the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, and it is necessary for us to know the key difference between S22 Ultra and S21 Ultra, starting with the price. S21 Ultra price, $1,199.99 for the base 128GB model. Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra starting price, $1,299.99 for the base 256GB model, $1,479.99 for 1TB. So Samsung may be bumping the Galaxy S22 Ultra price from its predecessors by a $100, so we can't reasonably expect a $1,200 starting tag for the base storage model. Using AmpereX batteries was one of the reasons that Samsung was able to cut the S21 series production costs, hence lower the model's pricing significantly compared to their predecessors, but that's the best we can hope for about the S22 models. The S22 Ultra price may be higher because it will sport an S Pen stylus silo, a new rear design, as well as double the base storage compared to the S21 Ultra at launch. Samsung is preparing a rear design overhaul for the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and not one that is necessitated by the inclusion of an S Pen silo down there. Apparently, there will be no camera island in the traditional sense on the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Instead, the sensor and lens combos for the main 108MP camera, the 12MP ultra-wide, or the 10MP telephoto and periscope zoom cameras, will be nestled each in its separate silo, with just their lens rings slightly jutting out of the rear surface. So that depict the new LG Velvet reminiscing raindrop camera design of Samsung's next flagship phone. Well, not exactly raindrop, as the lenses aren't arranged in a decreasing order by size, but certainly an intriguing design nonetheless. It's not a Google Pixel 6 series level of change, what with the camera strip across the rear, but we welcome the change nonetheless, as the island and left corner design is getting repetitive and rather long in the tooth. That's in terms of aesthetics, although in terms of practicality the Galaxy S22 Ultra's new camera design leaves something to be desired, as cases would now have to be pierced for each individual camera lens ring, or lint and debris could get stuck between the ones that are close. Moving on to the front, the other big difference between the S22 Ultra and S21 Ultra is the symmetry of the display bezels. Samsung is working on making its Galaxies truly all-screen, by shaving off the bezel even more than what we have on the Galaxy S21 series, whose bottom bezel is vanishingly thin already, compared to the competition. With equally resolute QHD Plus screens of the same 6.8-inch size, the Galaxy S22 Ultra and S21 Ultra display specs comparison may seem like a futile exercise. Samsung, however, has already fired up the new generation of LTPO OLED screen production, and the Galaxy S22 Ultra is said to be the first to benefit with a record peak display brightness of 1800 nits. Granted, such brightness levels will only be possible when you are watching HDR content in high ambient light settings, yet the same requirements are valid for the S21 Ultra's panel, which is able to reach just 1500 nits. A more granular refresh rate controlled down to the single Hz, hence more efficient display power consumption, may also be in store for the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Both screens have active digitizer layers that allow them to react to Samsung's S Pen, with the big difference that on the S22 Ultra the stylus is always in the phone, while the S21 Ultra has it as a tack-on in a separate and unwieldy case. At first blush, the Galaxy S22 Ultra camera specs may sound the same as those on its predecessor, main 108MP camera, a 12MP ultra-wide, and 10MP telephoto or periscope zoom sensors. Samsung, however, will reportedly equip the S22 Ultra with a next-gen 108MP main sensor that will now have a wider aperture, hence brighter lens on top of it. The new generation of the 108MP ISOCELL line in the S22 Ultra has reportedly allowed it to introduce better detail capture and low-light sensitivity. Not only that, but Samsung is reportedly also introducing a huge improvement in image stabilization, to the tune of a whopping 48% shake reduction and movement compensation compared to the Galaxy S21 Ultra predecessor. It's not clear if Samsung will achieve this via some sort of what Apple calls sensor shift stabilization in the iPhone 13 models, or another technique, but it is obvious that Samsung will be going for Apple's video capture crown with the S22 series, and the Ultra in particular. The S22 Ultra would be upgrading on the Snapdragon 888 processor that is found in the S21 Ultra with a 4nm Snapdragon 898, but for the first time it will be the Exynos version of the S22 Ultra that is the more interesting one. The S22 Ultra, S22 Plus and S22 may all have an Exynos 2200 model version in Europe, you know, the one that Verizon wanted, that will eventually be arriving with an AMD graphics subsystem and whose benchmarks leaked out not long ago. While every tech giant and their chihuahua is on board the homebrew mobile chipset trend, Samsung has been playing this game for a while with varying success. Its latter days Exynos processor incarnations were marred by thermal and performance issues compared to their Qualcomm Snapdragon alternatives, chiefly on account of the stock ARM Mali graphics it used in the package. All of that may be about to change with the next, Exynos 2200 iteration, which would reportedly be the first to bear the fruits of the Samsung AMD labor under the form of an Mrnewmobile graphics processor that is as frugal as it is powerful compared to its heretofore Mali counterparts in Exynos chipsets. Given that there will likely be further refinements to both the engineering prototype and the chipset software management, we can reasonably expect a faster S22 performance compared to the S21 in their Exynos versions. When it comes to the Exynos 2200 compare Snapdragon 888 scores, though, the new Samsung chipset wins by a larger margin as Qualcomm's processor is clocked at a comparable level. There will be a new, Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor in the Galaxy S22, though, so that Exynos 2200 advantage might be moot by then. Needless to say, pure synthetic benchmarks are only a part of the equation, and sustained performance, as well as throttling under pressure, are the ultimate criteria to look at. In the case of the Exynos 2200 laden Galaxy S22, we will also be very interested to parse the pure graphics subsystem scores, AMD Mrnewmobile GPU, and all that. Unfortunately, Samsung has reportedly delayed the Exynos 2200 announcement to coincide with the Galaxy S22 Ultra Unpacked event, and it may also be experiencing yield problems that will see only a handful of European countries get an Exynos S22 Ultra, while the rest of the globe is getting the Snapdragon one. Both phones sport giant 5000 mAh batteries, and the Galaxy S21 Ultra already proved to be the longest-lasting Android flagship phone in its top-shelf spec segment, so we expect nothing less from the S22 Ultra. It will have a more efficient processor and display, so a slight improvement in battery life is a reasonable expectation to have. The S22 Ultra will also finally be able to support fast 45W charging speeds, putting it on an equal footing with the Chinese competition. Why equal given that they are already at 65W or even 120W? Well, given the speed Samsung was able to achieve with the regular 25W brick, about an hour for a full 5000 mAh battery charge in our S21 Ultra battery tests, when Samsung announces full Galaxy S22 Ultra support for its fast 45W charger, it will probably be able to achieve the venerated half an hour or so to a full charge on average that the main Chinese competitors boast. So, that is it guys. Without being said, let me know your thought in the comment below, and if you are new here please subscribe, like the video, comment. Thanks for watching, see you on my next video. One, peace out.